everyone. Welcome to Murky Treasures conspiracy theory for the One Ring. Let's just start off by saying that this is for entertainment purposes and definitely shouldn't be taken serious at all. And, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started, shall we? All right, I'm going to go ahead and start off by saying that I know I'm late to covering the whole controversy with the One Ring situation, but my life doesn't necessarily move at Internet Explorer speeds. I really wanted to give the situation time to evolve and simmer down and really let the facts and everything come out before I really weighed in on it. But as the situation spread across the TCG community, it really had me sitting down and wondering, what if it all was just a publicity stunt? What if, Wizards knew what they were doing all along? Now, we've all heard the phrase, there's no such thing as bad publicity or, all publicity is good publicity. So this is where my conspiracy theory begins. But before we go into that, let's talk about the history and dig into some more of everything and examine the facts. I would first like to start off and talk about the difference between inspiration versus plagiarism. So, everyone has received inspiration for any piece of art we've ever created. Even the earliest cave arts were pictures of the animals that our ancestors either hunted or herded. And this is no different for Magic the Gathering. Artists have been using other artwork or other, mediums for inspiration since Alpha. You had Douglas Schuler's his rendition of the Ice Manipulator. Sorry, I know it's not Alpha. I'm not cool enough to own an Alpha copy of the card, but that work was based off of the name Self Portrait in Spherical Mirror by M.C. Escher. So it's very clearly, you'll see here in a little bit, a homage to his work. And there are many other examples that just where artwork was based on some other art out there. And we're going to go over some of these examples now. For example, just a quick look on the internet, you could see the rampant growth artwork here was based off of the giant wave off Kanagawa painting. Another classic example you all might be familiar with is the Orchid Settlers, which was based off of a drawing from Grant Wood, his drawing the American Gothic, where the old man and his daughter were in the painting together. The artwork is very similar to it. You may also have seen Sire of Insanity. It was based off of Francisco Goya's art, Saturn devouring his son. Another good example is the card Flubs. The Flubs the Fool, I should say. It was inspired from the tarot card The Fool by Pamela Smith. And the last example I'm going to show you, despite there being many, many more, is Doves, which was inspired by The Acolyte, an artwork done by Edmund Layton. But what happens when art crosses that line of drawing inspiration from its source to copying its source? You begin to run into controversy and then you enter the realm of plagiarism. One of the most notable cases of plagiarism in recent times in the Magic the Gathering community was the card Trouble in Pairs, where the artist, Faye Dalton, came out and admitted once it was noted and alleged that she had lifted artwork from a magazine that came out back in the mid 90s, as well as even pulled the hand of one of the characters from another piece of art. So there were two instances of plagiarism taken to put in that card. Amid the fallout of that was Wizard cut ties with Faye and, to my knowledge, is no longer working with her. Another instance, I mean, there are several of them, but another instance was, I didn't know about actually myself until I had researched this, was Wayfarer's Bauble by David Saunders. It came out once the artwork was published that he allegedly copied the background, the walkway and some of the shrubbery in the background from another artist's work. And when this became known, he admitted to it. And much like before, Wizards also cut ties and no longer was working with them. The artist in question was Lorenzo Lanfranconi. That was who came forward and said that the art that was used was theirs. And then the last example I want to highlight that I found out researching this video was the card Crux of Fate by Jason Felix. Two artists came forward and said that their artwork had been used in that picture. One artist, Kit LaPena, and then the other artist was Raymond Swanland. Swanland came forward. Each of them had drawn one of the characters separately, and what Jason had done was he combined them together to show them fighting in the picture. He later admitted to copying the artwork, citing he was overworked and dealing with a deadline. And then Wizards once again did the same thing. Once it became public, they released a statement saying they were cutting ties with him. So this brings us to the next portion of my video. Who is Dan Frazier? You know, he was born in 1945, so he's starting to get up there in his years. As of this recording, he's at least 80 years old. He is one of Magic's most acclaimed artists. He's got artwork going all the way back to Alpha. He is, I think second only behind Christopher Rush, in my opinion, and the amount of artwork he's contributed to this game and how impactful the cards that he has made has been. I mean, he's drawn most of the art for the Moxen. I mean, you can even see it as I get out of the way. You can see it back here. I actually own one of the Moxen. It's an unlimited jet, but hey, it's a Power 9. It's my only one. I'm sorry. But at least to date, according to the Gatherer's website, he's contributed art to 159 different cards. That's monumental. I don't even think I've drawn 159 pictures in my life. He's commonly known for his marbling background that he likes to do on a lot of his pictures. If you look up his artwork, you'll see there'll be like a center object, the subject of the card, and then there'll be a marbling background. You'll see here when you look at the Moxen. So, where did the controversy begin, though? It began when Wizard created the original One Ring card, and it set, bear with me, Universes Beyond, Lord of the Rings, Tales from Middle Earth. It's a long title for a set name. When that card came out, there was a version of the One Ring, a bundle version, whose artwork was done by Martin Nail. Hopefully I'm saying your name right. I apologize if I'm not. And the effect from the public was immediate once Dan's artwork was released, once the Wizards published his version of the artwork. Many people, including myself, immediately recognized that card was a blatant ripoff or a blatant copy of Marta's original work. There have been many videos covering this, so I'm not really going to go that deep into it, but it was an almost immediate response, a joint response actually, from Wizards and Dan talking about the subject, where Dan even admitted that he was frustrated, overworked, short deadlines, and he wanted to give the community something that they recognized. So he went ahead and did what he did. He copied the artwork essentially. Basically just flipped it over, cleaned it up, and added his marbling background that he's known for. But yeah, he admitted to the plagiarism. But Wizards has not, to my knowledge yet, severed ties with him. And this is where my conspiracy began. So now we've gotten to the conspiracy portion of my video, and I just have to ask myself, was this intentional? Did Wizards know what they were doing, or did Wizards and Dan know what they were doing when they did this? And was their intention to create this public outcry to get the free publicity? Hundreds, maybe thousands of videos and articles have been done over this, and free marketing. So let's talk about some of the evidence, the circumstances, some of the observations that I believe would lead to this conspiracy theory. First and foremost is Wizards hasn't cut ties with Dan. I mean, I understand he's very big and impactful, and contributed a lot to the game, but everyone else they've separated or cut ties that I'm aware of as I was researching. But Dan is still here, but everyone else is gone. Faye is gone, and the other ones are gone. And well, second is both Lord of the Rings sets are two of the most popular sets, was and will be two of the most popular sets. I think maybe Final Fantasy might have been the only other, recognizable name on top sets in history. Like University of Ghana is a successful IP. So they know how much attention they can bring to these two sets. And then, I mean, third is where was the QA, QC? I mean, this is going to be a big set. This is going to garner a lot of attention. You should have, I would like to say, a smart company, smart business, allocated those additional resources to QA, QC to make sure this set goes perfect. I know you have a pretty bad track record at Wizards of, QA, QC, whether it be the cards or the designs or whatever. I mean, blatant misspellings on words, things of that nature. And I mean, third is you have to know your One Ring. Yeah, this is my copy, my search foils. I love my search foils. You have to know the One Ring was going to grab so much attention. It's one of the most recognizable or iconic cards in the entire history, especially the near history where, you have a lot of your player bases, they're new players. This should have been caught easy. And the last bit of it is why didn't you put the two cards side by side? I mean, it's the same card name. So when you put them side by side, you would immediately notice it was the same artwork. I would like to have said that I'd hope this was a gimmick just to grab attention and that the artwork was different, but no, it appeared that this is the artwork they are going with. So that's what I said. Hopefully it's just a conspiracy theory on my part. There's no truth to it, and things just shook out the way they did. But if you like this video, you want to see me come up with some other crazy theories to go down a rabbit hole on, like, subscribe, check out the store, and I hope to see you in the next video.